I've been thinking for years how much I wanted to go out and make a pilgrimage to New Mexico when I heard Gene Hackman was painting and kind of giving up acting. The man never gave a false note, and he commandeered every camera he ever saw. What was, in your professional estimation, how did you feel about him as an actor and perhaps even someone to aspire to be?
Well, Gene Hackman, that's a pretty great actor. I mean, that's look at the career. I mean, from like 68 till I mean, he had like a 40 year as a movie star. That's very difficult. Um, no, I'm a big Gene Hackman fan. I never worked with him professionally. I only was with him twice at different social occasions. Very nice. He did once talk about to me. We were talking about picking projects, and I forgot who it was who hadn't worked in a very long time, and he said he didn't believe in that. He said he's a working actor. He wants to work. He thinks it's a danger not to be working for a while. Um, but I mean, as an actor, I mean, how do you? It's Gene Hackman. Now, I will say he had a reputation for being he could be tough on
Yeah.
a set. I had an Oscar-winning actor who did a picture with him and said he'd made life miserable for the director. However, I have a very other dear friend who was with him in The Replacement that adored him. So everybody has a different opinion there. Um, but Hackman, do you know Hackman got fired from The Graduate?
Who was it going to be?
He was going to be Mr.
The white husband of Van Bancroft?
I think so. Which
He
part did
could have done that. He could have.
which part did William Daniels play?
He played the plastics guy. Yeah, the guy that could get you.
William Daniels. He's either Dustin Hoffman's father or Anne Bancroft's husband.
No, Anne Bancroft's husband was the guy from Jaws. He was,
Murray Hamilton.
yeah, the mayor in Jaws. Yeah, so he was.
Okay, right. So he was going to play Dustin Hoffman's father, I guess. I guess that's the story. And Mike Nichols fired him.
Do you know why?
Didn't like the way it was working. And then he talked about this and he thought he was, that was a big hit.
In
Getting fired.
'68, yeah.
Yeah, but then he gets Bonnie and Clyde right away.
Had he done French Connection by that point?
No.
That was a little bit later.
Yeah, no. French Connection is like 69 or so. This is about 66, 67.
I just read Al Pacino's biography. Fascinating, but get the feeling that Dustin Hoffman may have been a more cerebral actor, perhaps Hackman as well. Do you get the sense that Al Pacino, if you know him or not, has that intellect, or is he more of an intuitive actor in your estimation?
I don't know. I've never worked with him. Could not.
Somebody intimated that he was more of an instinctual guy than an intelligent guy. So I don't know. You just hear this.
Well, instincts and intelligence do not have to be mutually exclusive here. I mean, you can have great instincts and be pretty intelligent. Kevin Costner's got great instincts and is pretty intelligent.
You know, I said to Ron Shelton, I know he's a good friend of yours. We've been strangely quasi friends since I wrote the book. I told him once, and I'm interested to hear your reply to this. I said not Kevin, Crash was not as magnanimous as I think we're led to believe. And Ron took umbrage to that. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Crash was in it for Crash. I don't think he was. Did he make that clear to everybody? I mean, Crash was not, in my estimation, the kindest guy in the world. As a character, what did you think of Crash?"
He's a baseball player. He's a professional athlete. These guys, you have to tear the uniform off of them. No, I would disagree with what you said, Alon.
I just think he's
he's in it for him. Every professional athlete's in it for himself.
Is he a hero? I guess is what I'm asking.
Oh no. What you said, he was in it for himself. Well, I mean, every athlete, the professional athlete, or I don't know how many professionals aren't in it for themselves in any profession. So I mean, but as athletes, you have to tear the uniform off them. That's what they always say. Make him tear the uniform off you. So he wants to play. He doesn't want to quit. I don't see that as.
I just feel maybe that's true, but I always had kind of a thing. And Tom Mount and I were talking about the whole process, and Tom, as you know, owned a minor league franchise, right? At one point, did you get a chance to spend some time with Tom Mount? He's a character.
Tom's a big part of Hollywood.
Tom, yeah. Have you been in touch? He's doing some nonprofit work or something with neuro research, and it's kind of.
I have not. I have not.
So
And
really,
what was the other thing you said though? Something about he didn't seem very kind or something like that. Did you
oh,
say?
Crash. You mean Crash, or what are you referring to?
Yeah, yeah.
I just felt I was talking, I've dealt a lot of, spent a lot of time with that character, and it struck me as I didn't like him very much as a character. I mean, Kevin did a great job, but I mean, I just didn't like Crash as much, so that's kind of where that stemmed from. But I don't know. Maybe you like.
Because he tells the Bat Boy to shut up.
Come on, no, I'm not talking about that. I just felt that, but you defended it by saying everyone's out for themselves, and that could be true. I just
So no, you cannot like somebody. That's totally respectful.
Well, I think that, but what that did for me was, when you write a character, I was talking to around Underwood about City Slickers, and you weren't supposed to like some of those characters in the beginning, but that's by design as a writer, and then eh, I mean that's the gift of writing, when you can make somebody. So maybe Ron did make him unlikable, but it's just the way. If I was curious what you thought about Crash, because oh, the other thing I want to mention was Tom Mount said the meeting on the mound was not going to be filmed because the producers had backed off that. You're aware of that, right? That they did not want to film that shot, and the audiences said it was their favorite
No,
scene.
no, no, no. Those are two different things. You're getting wrong. It was filmed. The audiences couldn't see it if it wasn't filmed.
No, I said Tom Mount said they were going to shoot it.
No, no, that's not correct.
That's what Tom Mount told me.
No, that's not correct. They were going to cut it. They shot it. Obviously, they shot it. How else would the audience have seen it?
No, well that's
No,
true.
no, 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 no. Read Brown's book. No, no, I was there. The
No, I'm not
audiences,
saying.
they weren't going to. No, 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 no. The audiences, they were going to cut it because they kept saying the brilliant guy Rob Fried, one of the idiot, executives, said it doesn't push the plot. Doesn't push the plot. And Ron would say, "What plot? There is no plot to this movie, right? There is no plot." And but the only reason it stayed in, to your point, is that audiences loved the scene, and it was always number one or two in the check box.
Right. I started this with Hackman, and you were right there. But what about the lovemaking scene in the bathtub? That was something they didn't
I
want.
wasn't there for that.
It's just getting back to what producers see as something that is successful versus the artist. And I think Ron, I was talking to someone about his film just getting started, and it was panned widely. But I said Ron once told me that sometimes it's out of the director's control, that the studio will take a project into a direction that perhaps the writer or the director didn't want. In your estimation, have you seen
Absolutely.
that happen in other films where you look at the end product there? And granted, I've never said anything negative about it, but it's not a very good film, and I respect the effort.
What movie is this?
Just getting started.
What movies? I
It
don't.
was Ron's last direct.
Is that the Morgan Freeman, Tommy Lee Jones thing, or whatever? No, I never saw it.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
just was talking.
Well, it happened to Ron on the Harrison Ford, the Hollywood cops thing, Hollywood homicide thing too.
Well,
Uh,
some could argue the problem there was hiring Harrison Ford.
yeah, but there's no movie without Harrison. Harrison Ford was hired before the script was written.
I'm just not a big believer.
The will prod, yes, and the answer to that is yes. I've also seen producers and studios meddle and put their things on it, and the director and writers didn't want it, and the movie be very successful. And the movie I'm thinking of is Batman. Batman, Tim Burton, who I adore, and every Marvel,
Yeah.
everything should give him a royalty. Everything. But he didn't want Prince's songs in that movie. He didn't want Prince music in that movie. He had Danny Elfman. He was going to, but Prince had been made Purple Rain, which had made a gazillion dollars for the studio. They had the rights to him. He agreed to write songs for it. So now you got to fit in songs. And he didn't want to do that. And it worked.
That's funny. I don't remember any of. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying I don't recall him having.
Yeah, it's funny you say it because it's not that memorable. When you watch it again, when it's on TV, you go, Jesus, I forgot the Prince songs are in this thing.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was
Yeah,
watching.
yeah. So yes, most of the times it's not a good idea, but I've seen it. It's a strange business. I've seen things work that shouldn't have worked, and I've seen things that should have worked that didn't.
I mean, with a cast like Morgan Freeman and Tommy Lee Jones, I mean, you'd think that that was a no-brainer, but I gotta believe they must have hindered some decisions. But
Well, of course. I mean, unless it depends on how much clout you have.
yeah.
It depends on how nobody's telling Steven Spielberg or
But Tarantino, right?
Yeah, Tarantino, Spielberg, Scorsese, which somebody should talk to him about it. Come on, these movies they're an hour too long. You make
The
movies.
Irishman, as much as I wanted to love it, I didn't. It dragged out a bit. It was just
Which movie? Which
Irish.
last movie? Which sagas? I'll give you four of them. Go ahead. Go ahead. Which one you thought? The last one, The Killers of the Flower Moon?
That didn't do anything for me. No, I love
I
Scorsese.
mean, that movie is like, well, you know backstory of that movie.
No, I don't know the backstory on that movie. I know it's based on a true story.
It's based on a very good book.
Yeah.
In the book, which I have not read, people tell me about in Sirobs. In the book, there are two main characters. Obviously, the Robert De Niro character. The other one, it's about the beginning, about 40% of the book is about the beginning of the FBI.
Okay.
And that takes over half the book because that's their first big case thing. And it's about that. And originally, the book was bought by, for DiCaprio. And he was going to play the FBI agent. And then somewhere along the creative process, as is wont to happen with movie stars in Hollywood, the actor decides, this part, I don't want to play this part. How about if I play the nephew and we build that character up? So he's torn with his decision. And of course, Scorsese, being a very bright man and a great filmmaker, says, yeah, you're right. Whatever you want, Leo. That's why I do 20 movies with you. Whatever you say. So that happens. But the problem is now you got to pad a minor character.
Right.
The minor character in this thing. And now you've got to give him another hour's worth of material. And the movie doesn't take off until the FBI gets into this movie. So I mean, okay, but that's Hollywood. That's movie business.
Well,
I did find it funny. I didn't realize that. I don't know if the book ends with a radio show that Martin Scorsese happens to be the MC of. I don't know. I don't want to say that's ego, but you tell me.
Angelina Jolie did a film of the book Unbroken. And Unbroken may be one of the finest books I've ever read in my life. And the movie was just, she tried to take on too much. The scope of a life, like in The Founder, they focused on one aspect. They focused in on the acquisition. And I think sometimes that's so critical when you have too much of a playbook to go with. You have to focus, I think Cobb did a lot of that. I think Cobb had that kind of focus and you had to have that because you and Ron decided, how
Not
you.
me, Ron. I was at the
I'm going to give it here.
But what you're saying, I couldn't agree with you more. The best biopics are the ones that basically take a sliver
Yeah.
of somebody's life. I always find that to be the best ones.
Because
Otherwise, it winds up being a book report.
well, you're talking about the guy that's minor character to appease Leo, and then perhaps that drained the story right out of it.
Absolutely.
You're dealing with
Absolutely.
a flatulent product now where it was tight before. But I have to tell you, I read Brolin's recent memoir. It's worth it. I like
Who?
Brolin, Josh Brolin.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's worth reading. But Brolin, Sicario to me is one of those films that is viscerally, I can watch it periodically because Benicio del Toro's role, I don't know any that have felt so viscerally. But No Country for Old Men, I challenge you. I don't think there's any question in my mind that the Coen brothers are the best of all time. I mean, in terms of variety, in terms of intensity, in terms of quality, they had a couple of lemons in A Serious Man.
Everybody's got lemons. Everybody's got lemons.
Hail Caesar didn't really cut it, in my estimation. But let's just say 8 movies that make Citizen Kane look like baby food, as far as I'm concerned. Just eight, 9, 10 movies that you just cannot. I mean, when you compare Fargo to Burn Before Reading, and
I'll compare it. Fargo's a far better movie.
well, yeah, but it's the same.
Far better movie. I want you to compare those. I mean, look, it's your show, it's your opinion, but Coen Brothers, okay. You want the Coen Brothers, okay. I'm not putting them up there with Billy Wilder. I'm not putting him up there with Howard Hawks. I'm not putting him up there. I mean, it's like, they make quirky movies, and some of them are good and some of them are miss.
I'm missed.
Like, but I mean, I'm not, no, I don't. Fargo, I will. Fargo's a great movie.
What about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? I find that to be very enjoyable.
I did too.
Yeah, I mean,
that's Tarantino.
Yeah, but I mean, when you look at his work too, Glorious Bastards and Django, as far as I'm concerned, is as good as it gets. I mean, I know they're very different filmmakers. You hate that one? Did you like Django?
Not my favorite.
Well, I came to talk
This movie, I like old Once Upon a Time in America, no doubt, but it's still coming back to Pulp Fiction. No matter what's ever going to happen, it's like people talk about Citizen. They'll talk about the Magnificent Ambersons. It's coming back to Citizen Kane.
Now that's film school. When you say Magnificent Ambersons, I haven't heard anybody say that in a long time. But
But I'm using the thing about the artist and the and the movie.
right, it's
You
just
know, you know,
I'm going to let you go. But
all
what?
personal taste. It's all personal. It's all. I'll tell you a Cobb story. Thank you for the kind words on Cobb. I got to tell you a funny story about movie stars and everything. I was playing in the Lexus Golf Challenge. I have a poster over here,
Hmm,
and it was about 96, 97.
mhm,
And I'm playing in a foursome, and it's celebrity things. It's senior players. It's Jack Nicklaus. It's all the 18 Palmer, Trevino, Billy Casper, you name it. Chichi Rodriguez, you name it. And a bunch of celebrities. Costner played Don Shula. I met Glenn Fry there, and this was I got invited because it was Arliss, and I was up for that time. And I'm playing with Sean Connery. Now, have you ever read William Goldman's great book?
he
Adventures
wrote
in
The
the
Princess Bride, right? I mean,
Adventures in the Screen Trade.
I
It's
think
the
I read it.
greatest book ever about Hollywood.
Yeah.
And in it, because he breaks it down better than anyone. Yeah, he's a screenwriter. He wrote, Butch Cassidy and
Right.
Sundance Kid, all the
Roy
presidents,
Hill directed that. Yeah.
Marathon Man. But he's one of the great
Yeah.
screenwriters. But even more than that, he's funny, and he didn't ever want to direct, so he doesn't have that agenda. But and he talks in the book, which you must read because this is the best book ever about Hollywood. It's about 30 years old now. Maybe more. The He talks about movie stars. He breaks it down to directors because he's got to collaborate with everybody. And he says movie stars, just like everybody else,
Mhm.
they get up in the morning, they do their morning routines, they eat a little breakfast, they make sure their kids, get off to school. He goes, they're just like everybody else, just like you and I, except for one thing. From the time they wake up till the time they go to bed, no one ever tells them no. No one ever tells them no. That's movie stars.
I like that.
So, and they all got this point of view of the world, for the most part. Well, anyway, so and most of them are full of themselves.
Oh,
Okay. So I'm playing golf with Sean Connery, and we're walking down the first fairway, I think it was, and he turns to me and goes, "You were in that movie Cobb, weren't you?" And I said, "Yes, I was." And Cobb was, disaster at the box office, disaster. And he goes, "I like that movie. But it didn't work here, and I'll tell you why it didn't work." I said, "Please." He says, "Because it showed what it takes to be great.
hmm.
And Americans don't want to see what it takes to be great." And I said, "Geez, that's a great theory. Although I should tell you, it bombed in the UK too." So it bombed in the UK too. And I saw him go, so because punched the bubble a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't think he said 10 words to me the rest of the day.
It's Sean. He'll get over it. What's
Yeah.
the last good project you saw that we've been talking about a few that like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Can you recall the last project that you said, damn?
Best movie?
Yeah, or book for that matter.
A couple of things on TV I watch. I
I'm
like
hoping you were a Better Call Saul guy. I'm praying you were.
what?
I hope you
I've
were.
never seen it. I've never seen it. I got to tell you, one of my closest friends is Brent, Walter White.
Oh, I love him. Yeah. I'm buying my brain going
Yeah,
up.
Bryan Cranston. Okay, I'm having a senior moment there. Bryan
Yeah, me
Cranston is a
too.
dear friend of mine. I've seen like 2 seasons of Breaking Bad. That's
It's
it.
not nearly as good as Better Call Saul in my estimation. Please.
So, but anyway, I watched The Gentleman. I liked The Gentleman on I forgot what it was, a British miniseries. The guy used to be married to Madonna, Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
That was very entertaining. I liked that a lot. What else did I like? There's a little movie. What was it called? Thelma, which was kind of cute.
Oh, she's in the little cart, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That was
I like
cute.
that.
It made
I
me
like
laugh.
that. Oh, geez, we got the Oscars this week. Oh,
Yeah, that's right. I was hosting is Conan. He was on
it'll be good. It'll be good.
Kimmel last night.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
Uh, um, I had a vote last week, and it's like horrible,
Yeah, that's hard.
horrible, horrible choices. What's that?
That's hard. I just
Hard to find a movie worth of shit is what's hard. I mean, it's the
I
bar
knew
has
I was going to tell
the
you.
bar has dropped so low.
You know, I watched a film that makes me feel good. I watched Arthur with Dudley Moore a couple nights
Good
ago,
movie.
and I'm just saying. My daughter goes, "You mean Arthur with Russell Brand?" I go, "Honey, we got to talk."
Yeah,
Is there a movie? Let me leave you with this. Is there one movie that you can put on every 6 months and just say, "Damn, it's
there's a
like,
couple of them. I can put on L.A. Confidential. I can put up
yes,
China. I can put up Chinatown. I can watch The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. I
wow,
can I can watch The Great Escape and The Guns of Navarone.
oh my
I can
God,
and I can watch. Do you know what I saw last week? There was a really good movie. It's called Lover Come Back. It's got an Oscar nomination. It was Rock Hudson and Doris Day, and you forget how good they were.
right,
You know,
right." I,
it's and Tony Randall. It's brilliant. The movie. It's funny. It's sexy. It's that movie I liked a lot. I think The Social Network is a great movie.
that's a Sorkin
Uh,
project,
I
right?
do like that one. You mentioned Fargo. That's a little farther away. You mentioned Fargo. You mentioned who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Jaws is a great movie.
I love the.
Jaws.
I'm a big believer in the making of films, and I made one. David Zucker and I were writing a book on making of airplane, and he ended up writing it on his own. He's a piece of work. That guy. They're from Shorewood, down the block here.
I wrote Police Squad with him.
You were on the TV show with
Yeah.
the. Listen to this. I'll say this, and I'm not kissing your ass. These were popping up on the stream on YouTube, and some of that writing was some of the best I've ever seen, and it was too smart for TV. That show was too smart for TV.
That was the it was Wake Up Calls, 1982, and I'm writing it with David and the
You
guys
know,
and
you wrote on that. I've got to email David.
yeah,
I'll
oh
talk to
hi.
you.
The we just lost Jim.
Yeah, I
Uh,
didn't know that until a few weeks ago. I feel so bad.
yeah.
You know,
Uh,
here is Chudnik, the guy that wrote with him in Milwaukee. You know, he had Comedy Sports. He started with those guys and he opted to leave to get married or something. So he missed out on everything. He missed out on Airplane, The Naked
I
Gun.
auditioned. They had me audition for Airplane. They get
Well,
the
bro, I did a book on
Robert
it.
Hayes,
Robert, he and
the
I talk
pilot.
all the time.
Yeah. So but then they hired me to write Police Squad, and Police Squad was a seminal moment because we thought we were doing really good work and really special stuff,
You were.
and we were pulled after 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they,
does that surprise you? Because it was too good. It was a damn
well,
good writing on that
it was the
show.
fact it was not. It's I don't buy that it was too good.
I
You know,
do. No,
that's a cop out. It's too
no,
good.
it's not.
Yeah,
It's not.
that's a cop out. It's like it's. I was too good, so I didn't make the team.
Hey,
The
no, I'm telling you, it was
no,
too.
what? Not that it's too good.
It was up against the Love Boat for Christ's sake. I mean,
What happened was that the head of ABC said at the time, which sounds like a ludicrous statement, um, the problem with Police Squad is you had to watch it,
right?
and it sounds really stupid, but it's not.
No, it's not, and I'll tell you
You
why.
never saw there was no such thing, and hasn't been any such thing on TV as a sight gag in
I,
about 50 years.
I
You
watched
don't
something
see sight gags on TV.
a few weeks ago that you're either going to roll your eyes or respect me. I watched the 4-hour director's cut of Das Boot.
That's
And
cool.
we're getting to paying attention. I relish movies with subtitles because you have to pay attention. If you're
Yeah, and
reading it, you're out. So
my
you go
wife
back to
had my wife has some health problems, and she watches everything with health. I mean, everything from House Hunters to the news to Rawhide. She watches Bonanza every day. She watches HC and all the murder porn shows on Discovery. All the Datelines and stuff like that. But we watch
porn.
but we watch everything. We watch everything with subtitles, and it's good for her. For
Yeah, yeah.
to keep the mind sharp. The only thing that's interesting is you don't want to watch it with a comedy for sure because the timing is off when you're reading the subtitles.
That's interesting.
What do we watch? I'll tell you where I thought it helped. I saw a movie I thought it helped. We watched The Brutalist. And all I know is if I wasn't reading this movie, I would have probably bailed out a long
Yeah,
time ago
yeah.
because it was like reading a novel. So
Yeah, well, you know that movie a couple years ago, Anytime, Anywhere, Any Place. You know the one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I tried twice to watch that film and I couldn't watch it. Did you like
Preach
it?
it to the choir. Preach it to the choir, brother. I'm with you.
I tried it twice.
Yeah, no.
And I don't like DiCaprio's, those non-lineal things.
Well, I don't mind non-lineal. I just didn't like that movie. The Godfather 2 is non-lineal.
I'm sorry, those are the two best, still two of the finest films ever made. And I was reading Pacino's book. He went off. You might want to take a look at it. It's called Sonny Boy, and he really does a nice job. But those Coppola is an amazing guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Godfather.
I used to go over to Evans' house. I used to hang out with Evans.
Ivan Reitman.
Robert Evans.
He wrote Even the Kid Stays in the Picture, right?
Of course. The other great book about
Well,
in a totally different way. But there's nothing better than the audio version.
Did you see Stuck on You, the Farrelly Brothers movie with Greg Kinnear and Matt Damon? You gotta see it. They're the guys that did Kingpin, and they did some.
Well, I know who they are. Of course.
So he says, what's his name? I just said his name. The blonde hair, Greg Kinnear. He's listening. He was listening to that book on tape. He goes, "Oh, Evans fucked them all, didn't he?" Oh, he got them all.
Evans was hands-on.
Yeah.
They were very successful under Evans. Evans took a studio that was going into the shithole, was going to be sold, and made it the #1 studio in the country.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, yeah, he wanted to meddle with everything, especially The Godfather. But at the end of the day, finally, when what was it, 2-3 years ago, when they all came up at the Oscars for the 50th anniversary, and Coppola spoke, and finally he said, and after 50 years, I really have to thank Robert Evans.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, Evans, I don't know what's real, what's not real, but hey, they had a 3-hour movie, and The Godfather and Godfather 2.
Yeah.
Godfather
I've not
3.
seen 3, and I won't.
Oh, you'll watch it. It's not very good. It's not. Rob Reiner used to talk. He'd say Godfather 3 doesn't exist. It's like Michael Jordan playing on the Wizards. It never happened.
I had the chance. I interviewed his ex-wife, Penny Marshall, when they were here in town. She was something else. I like Penny. I wish, and behind her was Gary Marshall, and I didn't know he was going to be there. I would have talked to him. Don't you ever have a moment where you're like, shit?
Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Before I leave you, I'm going to give you one biggest mistake of my life. I had the chance to interview Mr. Rogers, and I effed it up. It's my fault. That's when I wake up screaming some nights. I had a chance to interview Fred Rogers, and it's nice to come across some beautiful people in this world. And what I wouldn't give them.
Yeah, that would have been nice. There absolutely would have been nice.
And I'm going to leave you this. Nick,
go ahead. Okay, I'll give you one that I missed out on. A friend of mine's a comic named Bobby Slayton. Great comic. Pit bull of comedy, hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
Great comedy. Well, his biggest fan is Woody Allen.
Really?
And, yeah, Woody loves what he does. He makes him laugh, and Woody puts him in the movies. So Bobby, who I've known forever, says, Woody has a dinner once a year where he calls me up and asks to get a couple of comics. We'll have a dinner, and we'll have it at my friend's house. Okay, so I go, look, Woody, one of my idols. Woody is one of the reasons I'm in this business. I said, next time you have one, you call me. Absolutely. So year goes by, year or two, I get a call from Bobby saying, Woody's having a dinner tomorrow night. Can you come? And I'm in Los Angeles. And I said, Bobby, I just got back to Los Angeles. I haven't seen my wife in a while. I can't make it. I'm bummed I can't make it. He goes, oh, that's too bad. We're going to have a couple comics. He's having it at his buddy Jeffrey Epstein's house. So you're going to... So, and I missed it. But so there's one I missed. There's one I missed.
Marriage.
It's like, there's one I missed. But that's something there, but for the grace of God, go on. Because I'm sure we would have all taken pictures together, and the guy would have been.
Mr. Rogers, Robert Epstein, it's right there.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Him too.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Thank you so much for the time.
My pleasure.